Good morning and welcome back to CityLine. With me, I have somebody who has become very near and dear to my heart. I stalk this woman on a daily basis because she's so lovely. She has such a sense of grace and wisdom about her that it is no wonder she is the head of MDC. She is their executive director, CEO and board president. She's been at the helm now for almost a year. We had her on the couch about 6 months ago, and she's back during a very busy time. So please join me in welcoming the goddess, Pam Duncan. How are you, my love bug? Good to see you.
Hello, Amanda. Thank you for inviting me back.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Thank you for saying yes, because this is a really busy time for you in the sense of you have a share breakfast that is legendary in Tacoma. I believe this is your first share breakfast as president and CEO, so nothing like pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. So what's the first 11 months been like for you, babe?
Extremely busy, as anyone who has stepped into a new organization or any new endeavor could easily tell you. It's been a journey of discovery. I spent quite a bit of time, as a matter of fact, my first 3 months were focused solely on having conversations with my staff. We have about 180 staff at Metropolitan Development Council, and I had the opportunity to talk with most of them. I wanted to find out about their experiences, what their thoughts are about how the organization has been functioning, and what their suggestions are for improving the organization. And so it's been really a focus on creating a culture in which everyone feels heard, supported, respected, and that we all grow together.
Yeah, wow. So 180 people. MDC, which we call it for short, always feels like to me that if you were to ask me a number of employees it had, I would say, oh, at least 500, because you reach so far in this community. And you do such great work. When I hear 180, I go, is that all? And then I think about you sitting down with 180 people for at least an hour. I mean, good grief, that's a lot of people to listen to. You are amazing. Speaking of listening, you hosted an open house at the end of August, which I had the pleasure of attending. And you talked about the history as a community action agency. And I have to tell you, the PowerPoint of the history of MDC was really amazing. So hats off to your team for putting all of that together. It was beautiful. What excites you about that history, and what does it mean to be a community action agency here in Tacoma?
I think what excites me so much is that this is something that is historical in nature. In 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson declared the war on poverty. That is really his legacy. And as a result of that, he signed into law the Economic Opportunity Act, and which also allowed for the establishment of the Community Services Office, through which funds to all of the community action agencies, there's more than 1,000 across the country. Those are funds that help to allow us to provide the necessary services that are unrestricted to folks in need, whatever those needs are within our respective communities. And MDC is one of those original organizations. It was established in 1964. What so many people don't know is that it was actually established as the Tacoma Pierce County Economic Development Incorporated, and it had branches throughout Pierce County. And even back then, they were doing phenomenal things to address, to be seen as an anti-poverty organization. And so I feel like a lot of the history around MDC, even as it was originally structured, has been lost. And it's so important so people understand that we were established to be the anti-poverty organization in this community. And that when we talk about that, there's no way we can talk about anti-poverty without addressing what it also means to address anti-racism and to
Yes.
be social justice and focus as well. So those are the things that really excite me about the potential for MDC as a community action agency.
When I was at your open house, you had a slide up, Pam, and this slide has haunted me. And I am now reading the book. And I want to say to our viewers, if you have not read the book called Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson, it is unbelievable. It will move your heart and change the way that you view poverty. But the phrase that comes to mind is, and I want you to say it because you taught me this, so go ahead.
So the opposite of poverty is not wealth. The opposite of poverty is justice.
Yes, and that, in a nutshell, is what I believe MDC is all about. And it is eye-opening when I think about the team and the leadership that you are providing in the name of justice. Let's talk about, speaking of justice, let's talk about, I remember last year when you were announced as the new CEO at the Share Breakfast. I think we have a picture of it. Yeah, I think we do. What will be happening at this year's event, first off, for fundraising, and also for people who are new to Tacoma, because there's many people who have just moved here. Tell us, what is the Share Breakfast?
The Share Breakfast is MDC's annual fundraising event. There is always a focus on an issue that MDC is involved in, whether it's education, housing, health, or employment. This year, we will be focusing on education. That's one of our primary focus areas. And we have a speaker, Christopher Gray, who did something really phenomenal. He established a web platform in which folks can do research about resources to go to college and university because of his own experiences struggling to find money. And I can certainly relate to that, having gone through college twice and also searching for funds for my children to go to college. So that's a big deal, especially when you don't know what the resources are out there or how to access them. So he is our main speaker for this event. We also always highlight someone within MDC, and so this year it's a surprise, but we will be highlighting one of our staff who will be telling his own story about his educational journey.
I love that. So this question may seem like something that you can just answer in your sleep, but I want our audience to hear, why do you feel it's important to focus on education in terms of a pathway out of poverty? Because you could say, you know, people who, there are so many other more needs they have. Food, housing, a job, taking care of their children. Why education, Pam?
Certainly. And all of those things that you just mentioned are very, very important. I consider education, however, to be the great equalizer. Education is that pathway that gets you into doors because you have that paper. And that paper represents that you have disciplined yourself enough to go through a course of study in order to to be recognized as at least having a you're an expert now in that that field. And so many places now require that you at the very least have a bachelor's. It used to be an associate's, but now it's a bachelor's, and even oftentimes it's a master's degree. And you won't even be considered for positions unless you have those credentials. And that is what allows you to be gainfully employed or to be able to have resources coming into your household that allow you to build wealth, to begin that journey as well.
And that's justice. That is justice right there, having these programs and the information available that it is not out of your reach, and that's what MDC does. They open doors. Speaking of doors and what they provide, they keep us warm. Let's talk about the Energy Assistance Program coming up in October in these last few minutes.
The Energy Assistance Program begins October 1st. We have assistance for City of Tacoma residents if they are in need of assistance to pay for their heating or their gas bill. Sometimes we have additional funds available for rental assistance, so that people will just need to keep checking in to see if that's available as well.
Okay, so we've been showing the website below your beautiful face here so people can contact or call the number, and then they'll be directed to the correct resource.
Yes.
In these last few minutes, when you think about people as they register for the MDC breakfast and they show up for this beautiful breakfast, what's the one thing you want them to leave with?
I want them to see how much promise, how much potential MDC has, and that we are committed to serving the entire community. Even though our energy assistance is only for City of Tacoma residents, we serve the greater Pierce County area with other programs such as Upward Bound, which is an education program. And just real quickly, I want to congratulate our Upward Bound staff and the students. We took more than 130 students to the Bay Area this summer to visit colleges and to see what it's like to be on a college campus. And we just have a phenomenal staff. And I want people to know that when they come to the Share Breakfast and they donate to the Share Breakfast, they are providing opportunities for us to use those funds to get out and to the community in an unrestricted way. And we just make certain that we do that, and we appreciate folks supporting MDC.
And I so appreciate you. As you know, huge love fest here going on. And I will see you at the breakfast, and thank you. And your whole 180 people I couldn't get on this couch for living this life and participating in this ministry. You're fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. When we come back in these seats, we will have parking day and light up your bike. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.